Star Wars games used to be a dime a dozen back in the day, yet these days, thanks to EA, they're rare and usually garbage. But back then, it was mostly good games. This is one of them. One that has aged very well for being nearly 20 years old. This is the real Battlefront 2, not that EA DICE trash one. This is the real Star Wars war experience. After the first game was a huge hit, they started working on a sequel, which sadly had to be rushed out the door to coincide with the third movie, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Sure, the prequels sucked, but the games were the best addition alongside with the Clone Wars TV show. Battlefront 2 adds new ways to play with playable heroes, new game modes, and an improved galactic conquest, and a campaign about the third movie and the rise of the Empire. Yet it also removed things too, which I will never get over. For the things removed, you will no longer see NPC heroes on the battlefield. Only the player can be the hero. This means if you're the rebellion, you won't get attacked by Darth Vader, but you can play as Luke Skywalker or Yoda. This is stupid. This makes the game one-sided, or at least kind of, as heroes in Battlefront 2 are total pansies. Apparently, they were designed after Dragon Ball Z's Yamcha character, as they go down quick. This makes playing a hero boring and frustrating. If I can't be a Jedi or a Sith Lord and then have a lightsaber battle with other characters, then why should I play as a hero? Also, you'll be constantly prompted to play as a hero every other second. If you decline the pop-up, it comes right back. You have to play the hero or deal with pop-ups. Stupid. The other dumb change is no air vehicles on ground battles, so no Clone Wars gunship on Geonosis and whatnot. The only exception is the Hoth battle, where you actually have the snow speeders to take out the AT-ATs. Surprisingly, they did not get rid of them, though I wouldn't be surprised if they did. So yeah, you only get ground vehicles now on the planet battles, and I will never get over that. That's stupid. Now, I'm not going to cover the campaign because it relies on the movie using actual scenes from it. I'm not getting copyright claimed by Disney for a YouTube video that won't get more than 2 views at best. And also, you'll notice that this video uses a different kind of music because copyright. Because the game, like the majority of Star Wars games, especially back then, just uses music straight from the movies. So yeah, no, not getting in trouble with that. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about Galactic Conquest real quick. In Galactic Conquest, you move your ship around. If you land on a space with an enemy planet, you invade it. If you win, you get the planet. If not, your spaceship goes kaboom. Same thing in reverse with the enemy AI ship. If 2 ships land on a space together, a space battle begins. This is one of the new modes for Battlefront 2, Assault. You got escort ships to protect alongside your main ship. In turn, you must destroy the enemy escort and main ships. Take out the shields to damage the critical components, such as life support, engines, comms relay, you name it. And with shields down, you can land in the enemy hangar and sabotage things from within, till your stupid AI teammates hijack the transport ship that acts like a spawn point and crashes it into the walls. Then you're alone fighting hordes of enemies and auto turrets. To which brings me to one of the biggest problems with the Battlefront games, especially the second one. The AI is retarded and will constantly blow themselves up with rockets and grenades and shoot each other as they stand in front of one another and you. So get ready for Team Killing 2005 Simulator. This is the real Battlefront experience right here. The last mode to play is Instant Action, where you get to choose the settings, game modes, maps, and the era, such as the Clone Wars or the Galactic Civil War. You have Conquest, Capture the Flag, Hunt, and Assault. Conquest is your standard battlefield game mode where you capture command posts and wipe out the enemy tickets. Capture the flag is what you would expect as well. I never like capture the flag, not even in Unreal Tournament. Then you have hunt mode, and this is a nice change of pace, as you get to play a native species to the planet in question, or the other team, which is usually the Empire or Rebels, fighting Ewoks or Wampas. I think they're called Wampas. Assault is the space battles, which are highly flawed. You can't lock onto the enemies, but they can bot aim you into oblivion. Even when you just launch your fighter straight out of your ship, you'll get one-shotted by a bunch of AI. Plus, the AI won't storm the enemy ship like you can, and most of the time they'll stand around within your own ship doing nothing, as the enemy team wins by getting the amount of points needed to win the match. Yeah, this game is one-sided a bit. You get those points by killing and destroying key parts of ships, killing enemy units, whether they're in their own fighters or wandering around within the ship in hangar bay. And basically the whole experience is a lone wolf mode in space, is the best way to describe it. Assault, it's just not that good. This is one of the things that has not aged well with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Overall, the game has aged okay after being nearing 20 years old. But it's also a bit clunky, and there are a lot of technical problems with the brain-dead AI, graphical glitches, and the ancient 4:3 aspect ratio. Also, the lack of air vehicles in ground battles make no sense, and the lack of rival heroes on the battlefield makes heroes and their easily killed Yamcha experience not worth playing. Anyways, that's it. See ya. Star Wars Battlefront started a revolution for Star Wars games. They finally made a good Star Wars game. No stupid Doom clone, no stupid Jedi Academy, no stupid RTS, just pure warfare in a large scale, unlike ever before, with the Clone Wars and Galactic Civil War at the forefront. But sadly, after the rushed and flawed Battlefront 2, the series would only go downhill from here on out. So let's take a look at the garbage that is Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron, for the second worst handheld of all time, the PlayStation Portable. To start, the game looks awful, and there's delay and lag in the menus. Already a good sign of a trash game indeed. Next thing you'll notice is the Rebellion logo. Yep, this is not made by Pandemic Studios, the original Battlefront creators. No, it was made by the low-effort trash heap Rebellion, who only ever makes trash AVP games for a living and Nazi zombie army rehashes. So what's the draw to this turd of an entry to the Battlefront series? You can make your own character. Yep, that's literally it. Oh, and the character creation is so basic, so lackluster, so restrictive, that there's no point in it. What a stupidly shit game. So you made a character for each faction and chose your loadout. What now? Well, you got an extremely stripped down instant action, a shit campaign I won't even bother covering because it's literally just instant action with a bit of a plot about something stupid about rebels and renegades and other gay shit. Then there's the worst galactic conquest to date. I mean, the first game wasn't good with its galactic conquest. It was such an afterthought. But here, this is just clunky and pointlessly confusing. There's only a small selection of maps, most of which are new. But if you remove the space maps, there's less than 10 ground maps to play. Yeah. Also, the maps are tiny and linear in design. Also, the AI is stupid, and the shooting is awful. Since the PSP didn't have a second stick, you can't freely move the camera and aim. Nope, you have to rely on an unreliable lock-on system, then slowly shoot mostly the air before hitting the enemy, to which takes forever to kill for some reason. Rebellion. That's basically it. A highly stripped down, fugly, clunky, god-awful Battlefront on the go, with no heart, no soul, no joy. Just fecal matter. Renegade Squadron is easily one of the worst games I have ever played, and I've played Cyberscam 2020, The Witcher 3, Skyrim, and Starfield. But this takes the cake for the dookiest of the dookie. Truly a pinnacle of why Battlefront died, and how Sony could never make a good handheld. The last Star Wars Battlefront game is the worst. I mean, seriously, this makes the DICE ones look good. Yeah, I said it. From its subpar graphics, even for its time, to the atrocious gameplay and lackluster campaign, Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron left me so angry, I had to take blood pressure pills to calm down.
Well, we're waiting.
To start, the game makes it clear Rebellion is here to curse the world once again with more trash games. So yeah, we're off to a bad start. Next thing you notice is the graphical downgrade. As for a 2009 PSP game, you'd think to make the game better looking than the last. But no, that's not how Rebellion works. Next thing you'll notice is the same guy at the main menu. Yeah, that's because it's part of the campaign, to which just sucks. So let's hurry up and discuss it real quick, because it's just awful. You play the normal conquest mode, fighting the Empire as a clone of a Master Jedi under the Rebellion Alliance. In the end, you defeat the Empire. The end. Now onto the customization, because they had to bring it back. But this time, there's even less stuff, and they lock the previously available assets behind a progression system. So if you wanted to play as a Wookiee, well, you have to unlock it first. That absolutely makes no sense. There's nothing new here. What the hell is the point of this? Rebellion. Rebellion never makes any sense. Now, onto the map selection. There's only 12 maps now, most of which you've already seen done to death in every other Star Wars game like Hoth, Endor, Tatooine, Death Star, Yavin. So we got less content overall and a bad campaign. Not looking good now, is it?
No shit.
We can quickly discuss the Galactic Conquest, as they decided to keep the same awful alterations from Renegade Squadron, such as buying troops and tech and other jargon. You move troops from planet to planet instead of a ship like normal in Battlefront 2. This, in turn, means even if you're good at the game, the AI can just win by depleting the few troops you can bring to the battle.
Excuse me, what?
There is one huge addition to this game that sets it apart from the rest of the series, including a feature to the infamous cancelled Battlefront 3, to which we still need a leak of, like Duke Nukem Forever. Come on, someone. Anyways, the new addition is space to ground combat at the same time. This in turn leads to why you have less content, because all space maps are now part of the ground maps. So if you want to get technical, the game has 24 maps, since there's 12 ground and 12 space. Also, it's pretty quick to load into the space battle or to breach the planet atmosphere. But the space battles and ground battles have seen a decline in quality to make all of this work, especially given the 16 NPC limit to the game. So space battles are smaller, and so are ground battles. There's also only a few NPCs on the ground fighting, as well as in space. You can't land in the ships anymore, and there's a loading loading screen cutscene to go to space and to breach the planet, and a cutscene when you leave the ship to space from within your own class cruiser. Everything is separated into levels with cutscene loading screens. Honestly, the PSP was a mistake. This game helps cement that. So let's just get to the score.
That's the only 10 this movie's getting.
At the end of the day, I'm glad I didn't grow up with this trash game, because if I did, I would have been even more angry at how bad it is. I'm honestly stunned I keep finding worse and worse games for the PlayStation Portable without even trying. I'm just playing random games to see if there's any that I'd be interested in reviewing. So here we are, once again, with another dookie in the urinal.
Goodbye.
Back in the year 2004, we got the first entry in a series of Star Wars games that would take the world by storm. That being Star Wars Battlefront, the very first game in the series that takes Battlefield and applies the Star Wars license to it with its own ideas, and makes for one of the best 6th generation experiences of many childhoods, including mine, as I grew up playing the original on the PlayStation 2 and eventually the PC. Now that I'm older, and it's been 20 freaking years already since then, good God, I'm old. I was 10 when this game came out, and now I'm turning 30 in June. Enjoy your youth while you can, folks. Anyways, let's jump into Star Wars Battlefront 1 and see if it's still any good, or I'm blinded by nostalgia. After all, it can't be any worse than those atrocious EA games, right?
Bullshit!
The game is very basic and stiff in comparison to Battlefront 2. You cannot sprint, you cannot play as the heroes and villains, there's no space combat, and also only a couple of troop types. Battlefront 2 would just make everything more in-depth and fluid in comparison. I felt like I was playing a PlayStation 1 game. Heck, even PS1 games had more going for them than Battlefront 1. Plus, the battlefields are very tiny, with air vehicles in certain ones making little to no sense given how cramped they are.
Our vehicles have been sabotaged. Our reinforcements are being depleted.
Bespin is a prime example of it. Kind of makes sense to have ships, but also it's too small and everyone just crashes into each other or hits a building. Not to mention Tatooine has no space without getting killed from all the rocks and the battlefield boundary lines. You leave the battlefield, they shoot you and instantly kill you. Lame. The only map where air vehicles work is Geonosis, so you can transport clones around the battlefield and take out those Techno-Union ships.
Destroy the Techno-Union ships.
Every faction shares the same concept for troops, meaning everyone has a soldier, sniper, demo, support, and special troop. The only things that vary is weapons and appearances.
Oh, you look like a badass.
Are you crying?
That's funny. I'm okay.
Since this is the first game, you cannot play as the Jedi or Sith. Plus, they're very overpowered in this game. You can blast them with vehicles and they will not die at all. You do have a variety of vehicles, all from the movies like gunships, AT-AT, AT-ST, ATTE, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, Vulture, TIE Bomber, Snow Speeder, Tauntauns, and more. One more thing worth mentioning is the lack of career stats for your profile. It's pointless to make profiles since you have no progression system in comparison to Battlefront 2. You won't get rewards for certain actions, titles, KD ratio, you name it. Also, another thing is you cannot change your troop once you spawn, unlike Battlefront 2, where you can just walk up to a command post and swap at will. Sadly, the campaign is just instant action with a few objectives attached to it. You just repeat moments from the first few movies, like taking out the Gungans as the CIS, which I did enjoy because Gungan genocide is something the majority of Star Wars fans can get behind. Sadly, Jar Jar wasn't included, which is both good and bad. Good because we don't have to deal with him, but also bad because we cannot kill him. Otherwise, it's just instant action maps where you must do a few unique things. Though you can destroy the Techno-Union ships in all modes, so it's nothing special. Campaign is just instant action reskin and not worth playing in comparison to Battlefront 2, where you played as the clones, leading to the founding of the Empire. Instant Action has 16 maps total for you to play with, some of which can be used with both eras of Star Wars. Sadly, you cannot choose different game modes, tweak reinforcements, how fast you respawn, hero settings, or anything of the sort. You just pick which maps you want to play, and it's a loop after you finish the last one in the playlist. There's no options to skip to the next map either. So let's talk about the maps instead.
This will take me a minute.
One of my favorite maps that I missed in Battlefront 2 was Renvar Harbor, a snow map with two routes, one in an ice cave for infantry and another that's for vehicles. One side attempts to take the fortress while the other defends it. Renvar was once a bustling planet that got plunged into an ice age, which no doubt YouTube will now put the disclaimer on my video involving a certain crisis. This map can be played with both Clone Wars and Galactic Civil War. It's a fun little map, and the ice cave offers plenty of fun with thermal grenade spam. Tatooine has 3 maps in Battlefront, one of which is the Dune Sea, giving us a taste of the game's unique 3-faction system. You get to face the Sand People here, these guys are annoying and dull high damage, so it's a 3-faction battle where everyone is for themselves. Tusken Raiders kill Imperial Stormtroopers and Rebels alike. One of the best things about this map is the Sarlacc Pit, which instantly kills anyone who gets near it.
Enemy forces have captured a command post.
You feel like Tusken food tonight?
I guess.
Sadly though, no Boba Fett was featured in this map nor the entire game. too bad too. I never cared for Bespin platforms due to its cramped nature for starfighters and the linear design. It's basically a hallway floating in the sky. You have anti-air guns everywhere and people crashing into each other and the structures. I just don't care for this one at all.
I gotta say, Boba, this is one beauty of a ship. Not crazy about the name, though.
Kamino has a unique atmosphere, just like in the second movie. Here we get to see the clone facility under attack by separatist forces. I love the aesthetic of this map. Just a storm, waves crashing against the platforms, and nighttime is nice. There's a decent amount of ways to get around the map, with not much in way of cover, so if you prefer to play as a sniper, you're gonna thrive here. Hoth is one of the best maps and battles in Star Wars history. You have everything here from The Empire Strikes Back. Rebels must hold off the invading Empire with whatever they can use. Turrets, trenches, snow speeders, and tauntauns. The Empire has their ATSTs and AT-ATs. Vader and Luke appear as the heroes and villains here. It's so satisfying bringing down an AT-AT with the snow speeder. Oh, and don't forget to defend the shield generator. The only thing you'll hear non-stop during the whole playtime.
They're losing reinforcements. Defend the shield generator.
Destroy the Techno-Union ships. I mean, this is Geonosis Spire from the second movie, The Clone Wars. We have the gunships to transport troops and use to take out the Techno-Union ships. Never forget to take out the Techno-Union ships. Otherwise, the Clone Commander will never stop talking about the Techno-Union ships. And you must destroy the Techno-Union ships. Endor, of course, is here, and I hate it. Never was a fan of the green planets, especially if you're not playing as the rebels, as you stand out like a sore thumb as a stormtrooper in a forest. Why did they not have camo? The Empire is a joke. You can destroy the shield bunker if you want to waste several minutes, otherwise it's about avoiding the turrets, Darth Vader, and watching the ATSTs get crushed by the log traps from the movie. Oh, how I do enjoy watching that.
Nice.
Honestly, the map is just boring, and the graphics make it hard to see things half of the time. I just don't care for it. Plus, some of the geometry has huge hitboxes causing you to get stuck.
They bring down my property value.
What?
Yavin is another boring planet I dread every time I play a Battlefront game. But Arena is the better one in comparison to the Temple. Here it's just fun with the close quarter chaos within the ruins of an arena. Snipers can have fun here too, and there's also stuff outside of the structure, but I never bother with it. It's just more fun standing here, spamming grenades, and using the shotgun.
Enemy forces have captured a command post.
An update for the game back in the day added one new map, that being Jabba's Palace from Return of the Jedi. Now you too can see Han Solo frozen in carbonite, or get eaten when you fall through the trap door. Jabba himself is invincible and just decoration, sadly. Guess we don't have a bikini slave dress and a chain for the job. But yeah, you have 3 factions going at it again, with Jabba's guards attacking both sides. They're strong and can instantly kill you with their axes. Another map from the first movie, The Phantom Menace. Naboo Palace has 3 factions duking it out. The Royal Guard is the 3rd faction, and it's just a boring map really. I never liked Naboo. might have something to do with a certain cancerous native race that lurks in the waters.
Going to spin together! I love you, Annie! Yeah!
Bespin returns with another map, this being Cloud City itself. If you don't like it, pray I don't alter the playlist further. It's a fine map with several stories of action, fun using the jetpack troops to get around. Also, the Han Solo and Vader vs. Luke scene location is here.
I'm sick and tired of these motherfucking drones on this motherfucking Cloud City.
Renvar has a second map as well, this being the Citadel, a ruined structure taken over by the Ice Age ravaging the planet. It's another one of my favorite maps just because I like the snow. It can also be played with both eras as well. Mos Eisley is also here and is the second map for Tatooine. Starting to notice a pattern? The first Battlefront has a lot of repeats unlike Battlefront 2. But this one is of course fun since it's Mos Eisley. These are not the droids you are looking for. The bar here where no droids are allowed, and also plays the iconic annoying tune. There's the landing port from the movie too, but it's just a Jabba ship there instead of the Millennium Falcon, sadly.
I hear something.
Yavin comes back with torture as we play the temple map from the original trilogy. The rebels have the advantage as they're hard to see. Again, why is the Empire so incompetent? I hate this map with a passion. Kashyyyk has two maps, with this one being the docks. CIS attempts to invade by the docks, and a small island with vehicles, as the clones and Wookiees, the third party in the map, who work with the clones, defend a few huts near the beach and above the docks. I don't like this map. I never cared for Kashyyyk or Wookiees in general. Stupid furballs.
You mean to tell me you've been naked all these years?
Kashyyyk's second map is the Islands, which is a night map and very cramped, yet there's starfighters for both sides here. Again, Battlefront 1 maps are too small for air vehicles outside of Hoth and Geonosis, though I do miss them in Battlefront 2, as they were restricted to space combat only outside of Hoth. The last map is the Gungan Genocide map. I hate it, but it's fun killing Jar Jar's people. Now let's move on already. Galactic Conquest is a joke in Battlefront 1. You just pick a planet on screen to invade, and after a few you win. You can use a bonus attached to that planet in future battles, but not always, and there's nothing special about this mode. You don't have space battles in this game, and no buying of upgrades or troop types, or having additional spaceships, constantly invading other planets and defending them. It's a very lackluster, boring experience, and it really showcases just how much better Battlefront 2 is in a lot of ways, especially with its superior Galactic Conquest that later Battlefront games would butcher and let alone remove entirely. At the end of the day, Star Wars Battlefront has aged decently outside of Galactic Conquest and the annoying heroes and villains being op and unplayable, but also the lack of space battles and most maps not being suited for air vehicles. Then there's the lackluster campaign of random battles from the first 5 movies at the time. Those complaints aside, it's an average fun game worth checking out. However, on PC, you should just get the second game and download the first game maps, the unofficial fan patch, and some other stuff to expand the game with more things to play with, like KOTOR. So, you could get both games' content in one. Anyways, that's it for this video. See y'all later.
Anyway, if you've stuck around this long, you probably want some final words of wisdom, so listen close.